Big Conan fan? Henry over. There you go.
All right, gotta love it. We're through the first phase of camp, get into the preseason game starting Saturday night. Looking forward to traveling down to Arizona, playing a good football team at their place. Well coached, a lot of good players. It'll be great for us to kind of see where we are after a couple of weeks of camp. Looking forward to it. Questions?
Frontline players, guys like Derek Carr play, will they?
We haven't really settled on what we're going to do with reps across the way. We don't typically play the front line a great deal in the first game, so we'll see when we get there.
Do you approach things any differently now that you're a team coming off of a 12-win season, and now you're going into the season with real established guys, as opposed to maybe when you're going in with a 7-win season that you might want to play guys, and now maybe you set them?
I don't know that the win total has a whole lot to do with anything. I think having an understanding of your guys and what you know they're about, where they are with conditioning levels, where they are with any injuries they may be battling, what your depth is, what battles you need to see, what competitions you need to clean up. I think that's all part of it. But we don't sit there and say, oh geez, we won enough games, we can just not rep our guys this year. That's really not part of the thinking at all.
Fair to say then, Jack, that the guys that have been out this week, like Khalil and Amari, won't play at all yet, or is that still up in the air?
Well, it's fair to say that I'm not really going to address what we're going to do. But I would think that you could probably, deduct certain things based on my history and some of my tendencies maybe over the first 3 years you've known.
In terms of how much guys play in preseason and how much contact you do in camp, and I know a lot of that's relegated by the CBA, but has that conversation changed a lot since you got into the game or got into coaching?
A great deal. But to me, I could be the guy who sits back and talks about the good old days when things used to be so much harder, whether that be good old days or not. But to me, we look at the opportunities we have to educate our guys, to condition our guys, to prepare our guys for the season. We want to make sure we structure our camp to take full advantage of all those opportunities, and all the looks that we can get with other teams in preseason. That's all part of it. But I don't spend a lot of time thinking about, 20 years ago, every now and then I'll look at a schedule and say, now that looks a whole lot different. I remember being in pads twice a day and then a walkthrough after that, and that's just what it was then. So it's a different time. I think we do a better job of being responsible with the guys and the way we prepare them. I mean, I always felt as a player that my best conditioning level was when I first reported to camp.
Yeah.
And then it would just go down from there, and then we'd open the season, and I'd be like trying to come back to life. So I think we do a better job now of managing that whole process. I think our guys are arriving at the season ready to roll more so than they were then from a physical standpoint.
I think Jimmy Johnson would agree with that.
Yeah, well, Jimmy, the science of it, you can't argue with. I think Jimmy, he felt, and part of what we did was, we learned how to really commit to each other and the grind of it, and the unbelievable competition every day and everything he did.
You guys have a history of finding very productive, undrafted players. Generally speaking, in these early stages of camp, in these early preseason games, are there things that you look at or look for those guys to jump out at you? Or just like generally?
Yeah, well, as we do, we really make it an effort to, take our guys and however they arrive, we let them compete. So, over the last 2 years, previous 2 years, you saw examples of guys taking that opportunity and running with it. Darius Latham makes our team. Jalen Richard makes our team. These guys are playing and having an impact for us. So how you get here doesn't matter. So to me, that's where it starts. That's how we feel. You got to give Reggie and the scouting department a lot of credit for bringing those guys in and knowing that they would have a legitimate shot to make our team and to compete. So it's a kind of a unified effort. We're going to attack it that way. That's what we do. And once they get here, show us what you got. So this that first game is the biggest opportunity now that they've had so far. Practice up to this point tells you a certain amount. Now, how they respond in game conditions is huge and definitely a big part of it. So we'll see. Typically, a guy or two will stand out in a game like this, and we'll know more about him.
Now a guy like Jalen has been here for a year. What have you seen in that year in his development as a man?
Well, more confidence. I think he knows he can play in this league. He knows he's capable of helping our football team. So I think he's a more confident young man this time around. Not that he was lacking last year. I think he's always felt very confident about his ability, but certainly doing it, earning it, having been through a year, he's picked up a little experience. He's got a little bit of knowledge of what it takes to play in this league. And so I think any of the younger guys, if I were them, I'd be talking to him about what his mindset was and how he got in that mindset.
Coach, for years the Raiders and Cowboys used to collide during scrimmage, and this year you're facing your former team that you played for. Is there anything special about that Raiders-Cowboys rivalry still, and are you looking forward to that game?
You might be a couple weeks early with that.
I know, but I'm doing it for another Texas
Okay.
market. That's the reason why we
All right.
fired it all.
All right.
I agree, though.
Yeah. Okay. It's like we do have Arizona this week, right? We'll make sure. Yes, we look forward to competing with them in a couple of weeks. That one caught me off guard.
Where do we see the biggest growth with DeAndre from year 1 to year 2?
His biggest his growth, his biggest improvement, I think, for me, I think there's a certain amount of angst that a young player has, nervousness, not really understanding, where you need to be, what you need to do, what's most important. I think he really has a great feel for what we're asking him to do, how it all ties together, what his responsibilities are. Physically, I think he's matured, his body's matured. His conditioning level is really strong, so I think DeAndre's having a really good camp. And to me, it's just a matter of, year 1 to year 2, things start slowing down for everybody. Probably nobody more important than the quarterback with it slowing down, but all the positions, I think, you know where the meal room is, you know where the meetings are, you know what's expected of you, you know how the preparation's going to go, you know what the lead up to the games is going to be like. So I think it gives you a level of confidence that you've been there and done it, and you're better prepared for it.
Is the evaluation of quarterbacks, like say when you're comparing EJ and Connor, even more heightened in preseason games because they can be hit, whereas opposed they can't be out here? Is that fair to say?
Absolutely, yeah, fair to say. And that's a big part of it. How you function when you know that guys can really tee off on you. I think that's certainly a part of it. Being able to absorb a blow and get up is a part of it. We don't want them doing that very often, but that is a part of it. Getting back up and getting back in there, and so yeah, I think that's part of it. Where it's live contact and we're playing another team. Those are things you learn about everybody on the squad. How they respond. When the lights are on, how they respond when it's live action. So that's why this is such a valuable time for us in our evaluation, and this is the first opportunity to do it in that setting.
Are you seeing the development that you wanted to see from Connor so far in this camp?
Well, I'm seeing the development of our whole football team, and with Connor as well. He had a couple of really, really good reads and throws today. And the hard part for all the quarterbacks, whoever ends up going with the guys that are the youngest and the greenest, it's going to look a little more ragged because they're not going to be on time with you as often as consistently. So, but I think all of our quarterbacks have been pretty sharp in this camp, and I think Jake Peets is doing a good job, and Todd Downing doing a good job in that room. They have a healthy room, and it's a room where there can be good development.
In terms of how much work somebody like Marshawn needs to get ready for the season, is he kind of a unique case given that he knows how to get his body ready? He's a bit older, but he has been away from the game for a full year. Does that make it a unique thing to try to find the balance of work he needs and him reaching the starting line? Really healthy?
I suppose, you could go down the line. There would be some uniqueness amongst a lot of different people.
Okay.
I know he's a high-profile guy that people have questions about, so I'll try and do the best I can. We like the way he's working. Okay, I'm not that concerned about seeing a lot of Marshawn in week 1 of the preseason.
Sure.
So I'll just be honest with you on that.
You guys chose, assume you chose not to scrimmage against another team at all during
Right.
the time of the year. I know you didn't do it last year either. Was it something you ever did in Jacksonville, or is it something you're just philosophically opposed to, or is it something you would do?
No, I think there's just depends on where you are in your development. For us, I thought it was most important. I thought the last 3 years that we've made a choice to go ahead and keep it this way. I would do it with the right situation. I did it in Jacksonville. Worked with Mike Smith, who actually was on our staff before. So we did a home and away, and I thought it worked out just fine. But you know, every camp's a little bit different. This year, I really wasn't going out seeking it, and feel like you know, I think we're having a really productive camp right now, and looking forward to finishing it up.
Jack, how is Markel Lee doing with pre-snap reads and the other mental aspects of the position?
He's doing well. He's doing a nice job. He's growing, working hard. You know, he's got some natural kind of leadership traits, you know, and got a presence in front of the huddle. So I think he's doing a pretty solid job right now, and you know, we'll just keep letting him work, keep letting him earn his way.
Throughout the offseason, Corey James he was that inside linebacker. Throughout the offseason, he continues through training camp. What has he done to really solidify his place in that first team, linebacker?
He's just working. You know, every day he's working, developing. I think, you know, for Corey, the biggest thing is to get his base under him, get his footwork, you know, where it's really efficient. You know, he's extremely athletic. He's very gifted. Can really run, change direction, and just to play with a really good base. It's so important when you're an inside linebacker and the block arrives that you have a base to be able to strike and get off and go make plays, and he's making progress.
With Roberts, how much do you think the hernia affected him last year?
Yeah, you know, I don't know because it was news to me. I said, hey, really? We just had this conversation. I said, really? He said, yeah, I didn't tell you. I said, well, who did you tell? He said, I didn't tell anybody. I said, okay, well, that's your right. You didn't miss any practice. He said, nope. Okay, that's what it was. So.
Are you impressed he went through a season with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any idea about what it was or or all that. I certainly appreciate guys that find a way to be out there for their team and their teammates. And you know, we had a couple tremendous illustrations of what it looked like when Charles Woodson was here, and the way he gutted it out and played through things. So I think, you know, that legacy lives on a little bit with some guys toughing it out. That's good stuff. Now we want them to be smart. I'd like them to report anything they have, but I respect, you know, his decision to keep it to himself and just play.
Did it make you think back and reevaluate his season?
No, I'm not going back and doing a do-over. I'm not going to change the grades or anything. You know, I mean, it is what it is. But you know, what I knew he was having a hard time with is he had a newborn last year. And a newborn can disrupt your sleep patterns at home. To me, that was something I was concerned about last year. So I know the baby's growing up, and he got that other issue resolved. So we'll look for him to have a big year.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.